Welcome to Life Happens, where Texans come to protect their legacy and prepare for the second half of life. Join your host, Attorney Kim Hegwood of Your Legacy Legal Care, and our weekly guest as we navigate the challenges that emerge as life happens. Now here's your host, Kim Hegwood.
Good morning and welcome to Life Happens with me, Kim Hegwood, and our very special guest today is Valerie Petriciolet. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you, Ms. Kim.
So it's good to have you. You're with the Texas Senior Medicare Patrol, and we're going to talk about something that's so important to our seniors today. We're going to be talking about AI scams targeting seniors and what families need to know because they're getting better and better all the time, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
And so, you figure that the AI has made scams more convincing than ever because, you think about just videos, looking at a video you almost can't tell what's real, what's not anymore. So what are the most common AI driven scams currently targeting, older adults right now?
There's a couple. I would say the top ones would probably be imposter scams. So people claiming to be Medicare, from Social Security, or a loved one as well, right? They receive those phone calls that can sound a little bit scary. And with that comes the voice cloning scam. So AI can now regenerate your voice. So even when you get those phone calls and they tell you to say, is your name XYZ? And then you say yes, no, maybe, or my name is. Now they can take those little sound bits and put it into a software and regenerate it. So they can basically do anything under the sun. And then, of course, the phishing, the emails, texts, and scams is something we see as well.
And it just seems so scary because seems like somebody should be responsible for, you know, keeping that stuff, from happening.
Yes.
And I'm not really sure who that person should be these days. And so
Yes.
and so you talked about, voice cloning, becoming a major threat. How can families tell the difference between a real call from a loved one and an AI generated impersonation?
Yes, it is very scary to receive these phone calls or maybe even text messages. But the phone calls, mainly someone will say, right, is this mom, dad, grandma, grandpa? I'm stuck somewhere. I need money to get back home. And it sounds extremely scary. We all want to help our loved ones, but the first thing we want you to do is just take a second to pause and verify that that person is actually your loved one. So you can do it through either hanging up the phone and calling them back. That way, if you call them back, it's going to be them. You know that that's their real phone number. It could be 3 a.m. and they say, why are you calling me? I need my beauty sleep, right? Or you can say, if this is actually my sister, what is the code word? Usually I like to tell people, if you are actually in danger, say pineapples. Say mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, pineapples. And now I know you actually need my help, or I need to call the police, right? So creating a code word is one of the best course of actions that you can take with your family. And always make sure to tell the young ones, never give this word out to anyone, even your friends. This is only for the family. So that way you're making sure that only people who are calling you and need help are family members, and no one else can get a hold of that word. But scammers essentially want to just create panic. They're relying on you to be emotional during these situations. So what you can do is just slow down, verify that this is actually your real loved one, friend, whoever it is. So that way you have less of a chance of being scammed, right? And that way you know, okay, I actually need to call the police. I need to tell a certain person, or I need to get help.
Yeah, hugely important these days. And because your first response is always to panic,
Yes.
so I've had a couple of clients that have been scammed by various different, not just AI, but other scams as well. So you have to be very careful about people asking for money, especially gift cards.
Yes.
Nobody needs a gift card,
Yes,
so.
I know. That's what I always tell people, that as much as I would love a $2,000 Amazon gift card, I promise you no one needs that.
But if you're gonna do anything, just email it to me. That would be nicer, right? Don't go out and buy some. Just send it in my email. That'd be great.
Exactly.
So, what red flags should seniors and caregivers watch for in emails and texts and phone calls that may involve AI and manipulation?
The first thing would be urgency or threatening emails, right? So a lot of the times we see either through phone calls or through phishing, they both kind of go hand in hand of if you don't respond to this message, if you don't log in right now to your Medicare account, you're going to lose all of your benefits. Or if you don't give me your Medicare number, you're going to lose all of your benefits. So if anyone is claiming to be from Medicare or any government agency and is threatening you, that is a huge red flag. Especially if we've heard things such as, this is the police, there is a warrant out for you. If you don't give me $1,000, then I'm going to take you to jail. But I promise everyone, the police is never going to give you a warning call before they come to your door, right? So that is a huge red flag if it's another call claiming to be from Medicare, right? Requesting things like your personal information or claiming to be from your bank. Medicare already has your Medicare number, right? So they will never call you requesting, we lost your Medicare number, please give it to us so that we can make sure we have you in our records and you don't lose your benefits. No. If you are concerned that something is wrong with your Medicare, with your bank account, always make sure you are going through the correct channel. So medicare.gov, if it's Bank of America, bankofamerica.com, right? Another red flag would probably be the unusual forms of payments. So we get lots of questions about Bitcoin, the gift cards like you were just talking about. If anyone is asking for codes, hang up the phone immediately. If it's through phishing and they're asking you to do Cash App or something like that, it is a huge red flag. We don't want you to be giving out any of your banking information on any websites that is not something that you actively use, right? So if you're online and you're on your Bank of America account, that's okay. But you need to verify that these links are actually real and it's not just the top sponsored post or link that you see on Google.
Yeah, I have to tell my team, never click the link in the email. Log in separately.
Yes.
And I randomly get fake emails from that looks like it's coming from one of my employees that says, "Hey, can you? We need to update my bank account for my paycheck." And I just laugh a lot, delete. So and because they're not even good scams, which is sad, but still, I'm grateful it's something that's easy to catch, so that it makes it a lot easier to have to deal with. And so
Yeah, we've actually gotten these past 2 weeks, maybe, we've gotten a lot of scam emails that claim to be voicemails. And so it'll say, because we receive all of our voicemails through email. So it'll say, you have a message, and it'll look like it's a link that usually the voicemail is on. But you click it, and it takes you to a website link. We have not clicked it, but you hover over it, and that's a pretty good way to see what it's actually taking you to, the true link that it's going to take you to.
yeah. So financial exploitation is a growing concern, right? Because we caution clients about it all the time. How are scammers using AI to access bank accounts and medical portals and personal data?
I would say the most common way is usually through chatbots. So let's say you're on Google, you think you are accessing the Bank of America website, and all of a sudden you're talking to customer service, the chat box, because almost every organization, company on their website has some sort of chat now. And you think you're talking to a live person, and it may be that you are, but that person is a scammer pretending to be someone from customer service, and they're asking you for all of these details. Let me verify what your name is, the bank account number, or the numbers to your credit card, things like that. And so people are accidentally, willingly giving their information, thinking that they're talking to customer service, when in reality, it's a scammer behind that computer. And of course, the AI phishing text messages, right? So maybe we talk a lot about like the telemedicine portals. And so lots of people will go online to try to find help with doctors or different medications, and they willingly input all of their information into and medical records into these programs. And a lot of the times when you click the first link that is at the top of a Google search, it's just the sponsored post. So anyone, as long as they pay a certain amount of money, can be the top sponsored. So when you click on those links, you're not always too sure where you're going to end up at. And now you're on this telehealth medicine website. You're inputting all of your medical records, maybe even your Medicare number, to see if you actually qualify for these things, quote unquote. But we do not want you to be clicking on any random links. We want you, if you actually need medical services, always go through your doctor that you know and trust and get references that way.
Perfect. So what practical steps can families take today to protect seniors from AI-enhanced fraud, especially those who may be the most, vulnerable or living alone, those type of things?
The first thing we really want to encourage is having open conversations about scams, trying to remove the stigma of only older adults get scammed, right? Everyone under the sun has the potential to be scammed, whether you are in high school or you are on Medicare, right? So having those conversations and telling people about your own experiences or about the different resources that are out there, a lot of the times people are just scared to come out and say, I've been scammed, or they think they're going to be judged. They think their family is going to be mad at them as well for falling for something like this. But we've heard everything under the sun. So scams don't only affect one demographic. So having that open conversation, setting up the phone call and text screenings. A lot of phones now have the delete and report junk for the text messages. We want to encourage you to press that little button, as well as setting up your phone number with the Federal Trade Commission, the National Do Not Call list. But I do have to warn, this does not mean that scammers will stop calling you. It's just to reduce the amount of sales calls that you receive. So scammers will most likely continue to try and harass you. You can also put in, I'm not too sure if Androids have the same thing, but with iPhones, you can put in the automatic send spam calls to voicemail. So that call won't even go through. And I know that a lot of like T-Mobile, Verizon, they have softwares as well that you can ask them, can you implement this or can you turn on this toggle for me? And that way it'll reduce the amount of spam calls. But when you pick up the phone calls, you are most likely to receive even more phone calls because now you're on that list of this person likes to pick up the phone. And unfortunately, I am on that list because I'm always answering the most random calls. And most people do, right? Because we think it's the doctor's office or someone that I gave my phone number to, but forgot to write down their contact information. Another thing would probably be implementing the multi-factor authentication. So when you're logging into things like your bank account, passwords that only you know and maybe a trusted loved one or your caregiver would know, and write those down, but try to avoid saving them onto your phone. Always, a lot of people like to have them in a little booklet that only they know where it's at. That's okay, as long as there's not a rotation of people that have access to that, right? And of course, reviewing your Medicare summary statements or summary notices as well, regularly checking things like that, your credit cards, to make sure that there's no weird charges, or the caregiver is going through it with you, right? Checking, did you actually do this? Is Medicare being billed correctly? And those, I think, would be the best next steps to take.
Well, that's good because I didn't know Verizon could kill my spam calls. So now they'll be my next call when I get done.
Yes,
And,
I did it
yes,
with
that's good stuff. And so looking ahead, how do you see AI changing the landscape of fraud prevention? And what should caregivers be preparing for in the next few years? Because AI it's coming. It's
AI
coming
is
fast and hard.
changing. Yes, 100%. So this is a kind of tough question because it's, AI is getting better and better every single day, and scammers are using it to become more intelligent and create more sophisticated scams. So it's really hard to even tell if a phishing scam is actually a phishing text or email, because they run it through AI and now they say, please make sure that all the grammar is fixed and that I sound professional or I sound inviting, right? So I would suggest, or not suggest, I'm so sorry. I see it going good and bad, if one would say, right? So for caregivers specifically, I would suggest ongoing education, keeping up with things like this podcast, or making sure that you are going out into the community, knowing what resources you have available to you, and how to navigate if a scam does happen to you or to the person that you are taking care of, right? And I would say most importantly, telling other people about the other resources and different ways that you can prevent scams, what to do if you are scammed, going to different presentations. I know we are always out and about in the community. We have over 250 volunteers and partners all across the state. So there's definitely resources out there, but not everyone knows about it. And that's the main issue that people have. They don't know where to go. So we here at the Texas Senior Medicare Patrol try to act as an educational resource. So if you don't know where to go, we can connect you with someone. And I also love advocating for the Area Agency on Aging. They have a program for everything under the sun. So if you don't know where to go, your first stop I would really suggest is the AAA and us as well.
Perfect. Valerie, it's been a pleasure having you on the show today. If somebody wants to reach out to get some more information, how do they do that?
Yes, you can email me at vpetriciolet@bbbhou.org, as well as visiting our website, texassmp.org. All of our information is on there for the director, for me, for you to fill out a volunteer application, and even a fraud report. So those would be the best way. And then also, of course, my phone number, 713-341-6121. I am usually out and about doing outreach, so the best way would probably be email.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Valerie, and we look forward to having you on again soon.
Yes, thank you so much, Ms. Kim.
Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of Life Happens with Kim Hegwood. Be sure to tune in every Thursday at 10 a.m. wherever you listen to your podcasts as we navigate through the challenges that emerge as life happens. The content of this podcast does not establish an attorney-client relationship or constitute attorney-client privilege, legal, medical, financial, or any other professional advice.